Hello, Beauty News family. Welcome to Beauty News 2017
Yeah.
fails.
Things we did not like this year that were released.
That's
now,
right.
This is not like an anti-haul where it's
No.
things that we didn't end up buying. These are things that we've tried and did not like.
Yes.
It is what it is.
And only new things that were released this year.
Yeah. There's
So
plenty of other things that we
Yeah.
don't like. But
Oh
these
yeah,
are
there's
things
heaps of things.
that were released this year.
Yes.
Alright, so similar to our favourites video that went up yesterday.
Yeah.
Last yesterday.
Last
day. We're going to start with base products.
Yeah.
Now...
I know.
Alright, so the biggest fail I reckon this year was by The Ordinary. We tried the Ordinary Coverage Foundation. Not good.
Not coverage.
Not coverage, not long lasting.
Not foundation.
Not good. The only good thing about this was that it was very affordable.
Yes.
Now, we did do a whole video where we were swatching the whole range, and we kind of bought it. We did buy every single one. We bought them thinking, okay, this would be a cool video that could be really helpful for people that wanted to pick their shade online.
Yep.
But also we thought, look, what's going to be the harm? If it's really fantastic as everyone's saying it is,
Exactly.
we can have a few colours of each.
Yeah.
We can kind of mix them for like winter shades and warmer shades, summer shades. We were really keen to be like, this is going to be our new foundation that we love so much. Mm-hmm. It's horrible. It's a horrible foundation.
It is not good if you have any sort of anything that you want to cover. It's not good if you
want
have
to cover your face.
Yeah.
It's not good.
If you have oily skin, it's not good.
It's not full coverage.
It sits funny.
It's patchy.
I'm not.
It doesn't wear well. It's not a good foundation.
Dislike.
And what actually really surprised me, that there were a lot of people who I think were sent a lot of these or sent the whole range that were like, this will shake up the industry. Why do you need to buy your bloody Marc Jacobs when you've got something so affordable and amazing? This was a waste of money, in my opinion, and so many people wanted it. It was so hyped up, and it was so disappointing. I'm only keeping them around so I can refer to them, but I really want to just chuck them in the bin because they're shit.
And you know what? You know what got me about this particular foundation? Knowing that there was two that were brought out, one that was meant to be sheer, and this one which was meant to be coverage.
Full coverage.
I was like, what does the sheer one look like?
Moisturizer?
Why even bother spending time putting makeup on? That's how I felt with that foundation, and that's a coverage foundation.
Yeah, it was.
I was like,
good.
I spent 10 minutes trying to get this base looking decent. Why?
It's so patchy. It was horrible.
Waste my time.
It is. Yeah, it
So
is.
disappointing.
Another thing that's a waste of time, and this is another thing, and I'm just thinking Wayne Goss. So Wayne Goss did a video about these, being like, it's going to be revolutionary, it's going to change the world. And then he also did a video about this, which is a Bobbi Brown. We actually sent this Instant Full Cover Concealer. Now this is a full cover concealer. I'm not going to lie. It's almost like their pot set concealer, but in a tube. You don't get much product out. It's very thick. It's really, really dry and very sticky.
I think what pisses me off about this concealer the most is that this is actually... I like to use it under my eyes.
Yeah.
But getting it out with the wand under your eyes, it's like, let's just tug the skin off my face.
Yeah.
And then it creases. And you have to set it really heavily. And and when I say really heavily, I'm like, basically baking it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it doesn't set.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. So Wayne Goss, I saw a video that he did on this. And his claims were like under eye concealer that you'd never have to set. Like, OMG, it was like clickbait. And I was like, yeah, let's see what you have to say. Because I've tried this bad boy. And it's fucking
You have
crazy.
to set it. You have to.
He was like, this is amazing. I'm not paid to say this, but you put the smallest amount on and you don't need to set it at all. I can tell you the reason why I stopped attempting to use this was I didn't mind the fact that it's kind of sticky and not much comes out and you have to kind of like pat it on because it's really sticky. It's the fact that I could not get it to set under my eyes at all.
You have to bake it.
I baked with an under eye setting powder, still didn't work. It was still creased. The only way I got this to stop creasing was to put Shape Tape on top of it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
To actually put a setting concealer on top of it to set it. That's the only way I could actually get it to not settle in fine lines and crease.
Yeah.
Like, maybe if you've got the driest skin in the world and you want something to stay balmy and tacky, maybe try it. But I would say get a sample because it's very sticky.
Yeah. It's...
Not for me.
No.
Not for me. And, like, I've spoken to a few other people that have tried this and they've said exactly the same thing. Yeah, not a good concealer. I wanted to love it.
Yeah, I wanted to love it as well, but it's not one that I would...
Can't do.
No. Alright, next base product is the NYX #NoFilter face powder.
Oh, can we also talk about their drops?
Oh yeah, the drop foundation.
God, that was probably even worse than the ordinary one, except that it wasn't hyped up. That was hideous. We did do a video on how many drops. And
it makes me want to cry.
Yeah, and a lot of people were saying, oh, I love this, and that's great. I'm glad that some people love it because it needs to have a purpose in this life.
It does.
But a lot of people are like, oh, that's so many drops and so many applications. I'm going to have to buy this. And I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Firstly, they claim that like 2 drops covers your whole face. It does not even physically cover your face.
Someone actually said when they say 2 drops, I think they mean 2 whole dropper full. Yeah. And I'm like, that's like, you realise you're going to get about 20 applications out of your bottle if you use it that way.
But that's how you need to use it though.
You do need to use it that way.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing, you know, it's claiming that you need the smallest amount and to build it up you just use more drops, 3 drops for medium, 4 drops for full coverage. I would say that you need to start from like 6 to maybe 10 drops to just cover your face, and it's hard to build up. It doesn't... This is the thing.
It's a silicone-y, it's a very silicone, like it's a silicone-based foundation. So you sort of get it on, and if you try and build it up,
it just blends
especially
away.
If you're using like the brush that it comes with, you just like blend. It was so bad. It was just like...
And all the shades were really, really, really yellow.
Strange.
They were horrible shades.
Yeah,
I'm glad it works for some people, but it did not work for me.
No, it didn't work for me either.
And that was one of the reasons why
we
were very happy to give one up to see how many drops were in it, because we're not going to use it again.
No.
That was disappointing. And you can't even use it to add in, like, I kind of thought that it'd be similar to the custom cover drops, where like, okay, you can use 1 drop in a moisturizer and make it a light coverage, you can add more. This is not actually pigmented to do that.
No.
It's just like a runny sheer thing. So
I have used it to like sheer down other foundations, but it's not like
to sheer down.
Exactly.
Right, it's no coverage.
It's not like, it doesn't really have any great purpose.
No, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
I really don't like it.
No,
but the
powders. So these are kind of similar to the Hourglass ambient lighting powders,
but worse.
They look so bad on the skin. Oh man, if you have pores on your face, which is you and everyone else on the face of the planet, it's going to make them look bigger than they are by about tenfold. Yeah. It also, I find that the way it sits on the skin just doesn't look good, and they're too glowy.
See, I didn't see the point of them. Like, even the Hourglass ambient lighting powders, I get the point of those to some degree if you've got quite like flat skin, quite dry skin, to add some sort of luminous something going on. These don't do as good a job.
No.
And I also found that if you do have anything like oily to normal skin, it doesn't actually set your makeup properly.
No, not at all.
And it just makes you look grosser. So I'm happy to destroy some of those.
That's
They're
what
gross.
I didn't like about them. You can't use them as a setting powder if you have oily skin like we do. So you have to like set your face, and then you go in for like glow. But it adds, like, it emphasizes things that you don't want it to emphasize. It's not glowy. It's more
Gross.
Yeah. And also it starts to, like, layer on layer on layer because you've already set your face.
Yeah.
Now, another base product. Why was this so hyped? Somebody explain to me the fucking Milk Blur Stick. You do realise this is just like fucking
silicone.
Solid silicone. Oh my god, don't put it near me, it's disgusting.
Like, look, I'm going to say...
Looks like flesh.
It does... I'm going to say it does definitely blur pores because it fills it in.
Yeah.
But if you have any form of oily skin...
my face broke that down within about 40 minutes.
And then it broke... I found that...
It broke me out.
Yeah. And I found that it also broke down my makeup faster. It's almost like it held onto the oil and was just like...
My face was like eating everything. It was it was so bad.
But so many people rave about this.
Oh my god,
if you've got oily skin, I would avoid it like the plague.
I agree.
If you've got drier skin and you want things to look smoothed over, you might want to try it. But we're going to destroy this because we don't like it.
Don't like it at all. Oh.
All right, we're going to talk about lipsticks. This is technically 2017 for us in Australia.
Yes.
Might be 2016 if you're in the States or the US. Not the US,
UK. Yeah.
Fuck.
We got these late, as we do with everything drugstore.
Yes, so these are the Rimmel The Only One matte lipsticks. We loved the Rimmel The Only One lipsticks.
They're so
good. They were some of my top products of the year that they were released. Yep. They're beautiful. They're really pigmented. They're really comfortable. I love them. These matte ones drop the ball. These are like...
silicone.
Yeah, it's like you're putting the bloody blur stick on.
But it's got colour.
Yeah, and it's powdery and it wears off funny. They're not even really matte.
No, they're not matte. That's
not.
What frustrated me about these. These are meant to be like comfort matte type lip products. So they're meant to be comfortable to wear, not drying, but give you a matte effect. And they do that with silicone, and it just doesn't make
feels powdery.
It doesn't make for a good lipstick formula.
And it sort of like flakes
It does, yes.
And for a creamy lipstick to flake off, there's excuse for it. There is no excuse for it. You can get so many good, matte, creamy, beautiful lipsticks that feel comfortable and last a long time on the lips. You don't need to... Essentially, what I think they did with this was the long-wearing formula of the last one, which was like a stickier formula.
Yes.
They took that formula, added it to like a matte pigment, and it didn't work together. No. It just made like chalky, like
I don't feel like these hit the mark, unfortunately. No. But they were, like you said, my favourite drugstore lipsticks of the year that they came out. They are phenomenal.
Ones, so good.
And I still love them. I think the Only One lipsticks, the original ones, so good.
They should just extended the range.
I agree. 100%.
All right. Then when we get to highlighters, there's only one that really stands out to us that we've used this year that was not good.
Oh my God, it was so disappointing.
It was really disappointing, wasn't it? So it was the Lime Crime highlight palette. We used the...
Yeah, it was the Opals palette. And it was
no good.
That was so bad.
I was so disappointed. Like,
fuck, man.
That had a pink, it had a gold, and it had a kind of peachy colour in it.
Yeah.
And I was really excited for the peach. I was like, finally, a beautiful peach. Like a white with like a peach sheen highlighter. I was like, finally, I'm very excited for this. But it was powdery and it was almost, I'm going to say satin.
Yeah.
It's almost just didn't have a sheen to it. It was just added, it's like a iridescent blush.
Yeah, it was not good.
It was so powdery and they were so white.
Yes.
That you would put it on and it looks like you put on, like if you're looking straight on,
it looks like
you've got
white
just
strips.
white.
Oh, God.
The only good shade in that was the gold.
Yeah, but it was just boring.
It was just gold. Like it wasn't
generic.
And they've brought out so many highlighter palettes since and it's really put me off.
Yeah, I won't touch them. Yeah. Not going there. I don't trust them. No.
It's a shame. It is. It's a real shame.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the next things that we want to talk about are all eyeshadow palettes.
Yeah.
Because there have been a bunch of eyeshadow palettes that have come out this year. We have tried a lot, but not many have hit the mark for us.
No.
Not many that actually stood out in our collection as being, wow, that's great. Like, I'm going to keep reaching for that.
No.
So the first one that we really didn't like, along with a lot of people, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette.
Yeah.
Now, we all know the drama that went around this one. They pressed it very, very loosely. They called it a pure pigment palette after everyone was complaining about the pigmentation. It just kind of blended funny. Some of the shades would kind of mix in a funny way. Like, you'd add a green to a yellow, and you'd make a grey. Yeah. You're like, how does that work? Yeah. That's not colour theory.
Or it would, like, stick to one spot and wouldn't fucking hold on to another spot.
Yeah.
Or they wouldn't blend.
Yeah.
And
it was such a shame, though, because the colours were so lovely. But I almost look at it now and I go, like, we've been in store and we've seen the newer versions, and they are a lot better. They're not as loose. They're not as pigmented. And
I still don't trust it.
It's like I look at the colours and I just get, like, reminded of how shit that palette was.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm going to buy a new one. But, if you've got the original one, you'll know what we're talking about. If you've got a newer one, they're supposedly a lot better. But I think this really showed that more pigmented isn't a better thing.
No.
It was just so hard to use, where you'd put a little bit on and you'd dab a little bit on, and then all of a sudden you'll just smear across your whole eye because it's just so pigmented. So sometimes it is best to have like a medium sort of pigmentation that you can build, so you can control
Buildable
it.
is best.
Yeah, but whereas this was just like, oh, I put too much on, no going back. How do we salvage this look?
Yeah,
It was a nightmare.
Take off your makeup and go to bed.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was not, but the colours are really pretty. And the shimmery shades, they were some of the more infuriating ones, because even the matte ones you could pick up, like a tiny amount and sort of put it on. Whereas the shimmery ones,
pick up at all.
they would seal up and they were impossible to even use. They'd be chunky and gross. And
that was a disappointment, that palette.
That was a big fall from grace.
Yeah, it was.
A big fall from grace. That
Absolutely.
was a shame.
The next one is the Kat Von D Satin Sinner palette.
Yeah.
We both bought this recently, and we both don't really like it.
I don't regret buying it.
No, I'm glad I bought it.
Yeah, but I think it's a good collector palette.
I agree with you.
But as a sort of cohesive, like I even look at something like the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, which is kind of boring, but I can look at it and I can go, oh, I can easily create a look using that.
Yeah.
Or I'll look at something like the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk and I'm like, okay, I can create numerous looks. There are a few colours. I can see how I can work them together, create a beautiful look. But when it comes to the Kat Von D Satin Sinner, there is only pretty much one look that I can create that looks flattering. Every other time I've tried to do other things, it looks really muddy, very kind of grey, very dirty, and
agree.
a lot of the colours just don't really work well together. And I know that there are a lot of people that can create some great looks with it, but personally,
I feel like those looks are always very artistic, and you know that person has sat down and worked on those eyes for over an hour, and they're also photoshopped to shit.
But that's what I was going to say. Like, I think also, like, you can kind of go, oh, you can put a blue here and an orange there and make it look, and you can create some beautiful looks. They're not looks that I personally want to walk out of the house wearing every day. And so for me, unless I go for the kind of caramel brown and the brown with the brown,
that's exactly the same. But when you do that, it comes out grey.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I hate about that palette.
I just find that it looks like a punch in the face.
It does.
Most
it really
of the times
does.
I use it.
And also, I've got to say this about the palette. The mattes in there, for anyone who likes to do a little bit of like colour or shimmer or like pop on the eyelid with mattes in the crease to make it look like when you've got your eyes open, it looks totally socially acceptable. Then you blink or you wink at someone, they're like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, what's that colour?
We've got that stats going on. That palette, like, you've literally got 2 crease colours.
Yeah, you do.
It is...
You do.
I
struggle.
And
And
also,
there's like one that's like a caramel brown.
Yes.
And I just found that's what I was using all over the
all
lid.
the fucking time.
That's what I was using on the lower lash line all the time, because otherwise it goes from like caramel brown or like a warm brown with gold sparkle.
Yes.
Or it jumps to like a swamp green or,
Yes.
or a deep chocolate brown.
And why... Somebody explain to me why we need a matte white and a matte pale pink.
Yeah. That was frustrating. I agree.
Stop it.
I agree.
Stop it. Take it away.
Yeah. But I'm going to say the individual shades, if you got another palette that you really liked and you created a look and then you went for the matte purple just to run on the lower lash line or something, you can create really nice additions to looks.
I agree.
With those colours. There's
That
a nice
palette,
silver, there's
yep.
a nice there's a nice duochrome, but as a whole,
Yeah. As a
frustrates
palette
me.
that you use on its own, it's definitely...
Yeah, it's challenging.
It's not one that I just look at it and I'm like, I know exactly what I'm going to put on my face and it's boring and I don't want to.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to use like the colours in the palette, like the shimmery, pretty colours with like different matte palettes. But on its own, I don't like the cohesiveness of the palette.
No.
I do think the formula is very, very good though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And it looks cool.
It does. Looks fantastic. Yeah.
It's a bit of a difficult
Some
one.
people love it. Some people hate it.
Yeah, no, I see both sides.
Yeah,
It's just
so do I.
that
No, I do too.
there was so much potential.
Yeah, I agree. That palette needs more mattes.
Speaking of more mattes,
Oh, shit.
the Zoeva Matte Spectrum palette.
Oh, this one was so sad. It had
I
so much
know.
potential.
Like, there were some shades in there that once
Yeah.
again, like, this was okay, so the formula was not great. And I've tried Zoeva Spectrum palettes before, and the quality is really nice.
Yeah,
So
I
I
agree.
was disappointed when I
Yes.
got this one. I was expecting a lot, and they offered very little. And I did find that once again, if you mixed a couple of shades together, similar to the Kat Von D palette, it would just turn into mud. And you might go, okay, I want a beautiful teal in the outer corner and a coral colour, like all over the lid or whatever it was.
Never worked.
And then it would just turn into mud.
Sad.
Because it was quite powdery and it just blended together too much.
Yes. And I
blended away. The colour blended away.
It makes me... I feel like this year a lot of people tried to do teal eyeshadows and I understand why, because it's a beautiful, fucking beautiful colour. But I honestly think that teal pigment is potentially much like purple pigment.
Yeah, it's very hard to make
Very
it good.
fucking hard to get it right, and it could potentially take a couple of years for a brand to bring out that banging teal shadow.
I have to say though, that teal in that palette was the only colour that I would reach for that palette for.
Yes.
And
if you pack it on, it's great. But if you're doing any blending with it, it was no-go.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Like this year for me, I've been wearing a lot of teal eyeliner and I loved it to diffuse eyeliner or just deepen the crease of just a normal kind of bronze look, to add a little bit of cohesion with the liner. But when it came to blending it out, it blends away to nothing. There is no point using it.
No.
But packing it on top of a teal liner,
I agree.
packing it on the inner corner, packing it on the lower lash line, it did work a treat.
Yes.
It was a beautiful colour. But once again, the biggest problem with that palette was, firstly, some of the shades were what the fuck.
Yeah.
They could have had such good shades in there, and instead they went like grey, like it was like a grey blue and a dark blue and a darker blue. And I'm like, why?
Come on.
Yeah. So it just
and also because the formula of those was not spot on, it's like why
look the same.
Come on, why didn't
They had
put
yellow,
some-
dark yellow, and darker yellow.
I know.
And I'm like, I can't. On the face, like when you put on your eye, there was no difference between the three
I know.
because they all blend away to the same colour. It was a waste of space. And they had that weird nude row. Whatever.
I know.
That was fucking strange. So that was not a palette I loved. All right. Then the last thing we're talking about is a very new thing. So if you watched our favourites, we talked about the Steel and Magnificent Metals and we said that sort of sparkly, beautiful liquid eyeshadow thing.
It's so beautiful.
It's going to be the biggest trend, I reckon, of 2018.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you'll see most brands bringing them out. They're already starting to bring them out. Cover FX, Lime Crime, blah, blah, blah. They'll all do
it. That's 2018.
That's 2018's problem.
Yeah.
But one that I was very excited about and was very disappointed in were the Colourpop Supernova Shadows. Now, we bought the original 5 that came out.
Yeah.
They've since introduced 3 more. And I have to say, I was hoping that they'd be as good as the Stila ones. They are nowhere near as good.
They're different.
They're very different.
They're very different. So many people were comparing them to the Stila ones. So when I got them and I'm like...
No.
Are we living in different planets? Like, is this like... alternate dimensions where the Stila Magnificent metals are different, like what I'm using is different to what you're using?
Yeah, did you get a really bad batch?
What happened?
Yeah.
Did you get a shit one?
I agree. Like,
oh man.
Look, the colours are really pretty.
They are very pretty and wearable. I do think that they're wearable shades as well.
Yes, they are. They're really pretty colours. But the problem is that unlike the Stila ones that you could literally put on your eye, blend out, and have it look gorgeous. Mm-hmm. These are like, they kind of crack. They sort of look scaly. If you want to build them up, it's like you're building up, I don't even know, like a really flaky paint.
Yeah.
And it just looks creasy and not nice.
Good.
I do think that if you wanted to use these, like I will continue to use them, but you have to create a complete look.
Yeah.
And then just dab them.
Use them as
in
like
a little special area.
Yeah. Use them as an accent, not as like a core piece of your look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you did want to use it like all over, you're going to have a hard time. They're not good.
Looks messy.
All right, guys, those were our products we didn't love this year. You know, if you loved some of these products, good. I'm glad. You know, if it works for you.
Different strokes, different folks.
Yeah. You know, we've got different preferences. We've got different skin concerns. We've got, different things work for different climates, all that kind of stuff. So if something worked for you, I'm glad. And all these things, they weren't completely shit. They just didn't fit our preferences.
Yeah. And I feel like... people say best and worst products, blah, blah, blah. You also have to keep in mind it's all like perspective. It's the best of what you've tried. It's the worst of what you've tried. It's not the worst.
Yeah, we avoided a lot of products because we didn't think
like
they
them. Would be right for us.
So in the scheme of things, we thought these were worth our money, so we didn't actually buy them, and they just didn't deliver. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let us know what your most disappointing products of 2017 were that you've tried. Mm-hmm. We do talk a lot about products that we don't like in beauty news, but these were the ones that we've tried and can
physically tried. Yes,
that we don't like. And it is what it is. So,
also, if you haven't seen our favourites of 2017...
It'll be on the screen.
Go and
watch you been doing with your thumb.
Watch it. Alright, we're going. I feel like the heat is driving me fucking batshit crazy.
True.
See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.